Everybody, Juan Ortega here, your business coach, and here is your business tip of the week. Today, I want to talk to you about time management or time mastery. And we have this illustration here, which is a glass jar with rocks, pebbles, and sand inside of it. And you can actually see this on YouTube, by the way. So there's been many people who have done this throughout the years, and it's pretty cool to watch someone do this in a recording or in a live setting. I actually did it in a live event once, and it was pretty cool. Essentially, the glass jar represents the time that we have, right? We're all limited to that 24 hours in the day. Rocks represent those big, important projects or activities that we should get done, want to get done, the ones that would really move the business forward if we actually got to them. And so basically everything that we talk about, it's on the business, right? So the on the business, those really transformational type activities. When we think about the pebbles represent kind of the day-to-day work, the checking the emails, returning phone calls, maybe putting proposals together, maybe doing some of the accounting work, that sort of stuff. The things that we have to do, right? They're important, but they're not essentially the projects that we know could lead to bigger, better things. Okay, so pebbles is the working in the business, and then you got the sand. The sand is the distractions. It's things like social media and TV. Maybe it's the shiny objects. For some people, it might be maybe some podcasts and some things that aren't necessarily business related, but we enjoy doing them. So these are, the time wasters. And, we got to be careful with the sand because oftentimes the sand disguises itself as pebbles and rocks, and they convince us sometimes that they're not distractions, that somehow they're pebbles and rocks when in fact they are. They're distractions. And what's cool about this demonstration, and you'll see it if you go and watch the video, is that when you put in the sand first, then the pebbles, then the rocks, the rocks don't fit. And if you take it all out and you drop them back in a different order, they magically fit. So you put the rocks in first, then the pebbles, then the sand. It magically all fits. Like I've actually done this in live events, and it's really cool. So the point here is that we claim to say that there isn't enough time, and the time is there. I mean, and we can see really successful people how many things they actually get done in the same amount of time that we have. And it's not necessarily that they have more time, they just have a different process or different system for doing that. Okay, so what I wanted to share with you today is really my 4 big tips on time management, or self-mastery is really the way that I like to call it, because we can't really manage time. We can't even master time. The only thing that we can get better at is self-mastery. So it's just another form of self-mastery, if you ask me. So let me give you my 4 tips on self-mastery for the week. So number 1 is filterize. And if you're wondering to yourself, is that a word? I guess I just made it a word, and you'll see why in a minute. Number 2 is prioritize. Number 3, optimize. And number 4, humanize. See, the filterize just sounds a lot better. So let's talk a little bit about each of these. So starting with the first one, what I mean when I say filterize is essentially, remember it as don't let everything in, and not everything needs to be done by you. Okay, it's essentially the filter. It's kind of like a gatekeeper, right? Like we have to have a really good gatekeeper, a really good filter to ensure that not everything is getting through the gate. Because if we're reading every single email, acting on every single email, following up on every idea that somebody sends to us, then there isn't enough time. So if you find yourself consistently and constantly trying to catch up with more things to follow up on and do, it might be that you just need to put into place a good filter or gatekeeper. So the way to do that, the way that I remember, is the 4 Ds, okay? The 4 Ds. So write this down. So the first D, the first filter or part of the filter, the D stands for dump it, okay? The dump it basically means like just don't do it. Like, does it need to really get done? Is this something that benefits me, my organization? Is this something that makes sense? Is this part of my priorities? Is this going to get me closer to my goals? Or is it just somebody else's priority, somebody else's goal, somebody else's thing that they're trying to get me to do, and all of a sudden it becomes a shiny object. So the first D is to dump it. The second one is to defer it, meaning maybe it is a good idea, maybe it is something I want to look into, but maybe I don't need to look into it right now. So the second D is to defer it, not now, but later. The third D is to delegate. Well, maybe you were determined that this thing that came your way, maybe it is important, maybe you should do it and you should do it now, right? But maybe it doesn't need to be you. So the third D, delegate it, find someone to delegate it to. And then the fourth one, the final one, the fourth thing and final thing that you should do is do it. Okay, so if it can't be done by anyone else, if it must be done now, and it's something that's important and then you need to do it, then great. But what happens is most people actually start by trying to do everything themselves. They never even thought of delegating, deferring, or just saying no and dumping it. Okay, so all of that's create a really good filter, gatekeeper for yourself. The second one's prioritize. It's basically knowing what to do and when to do it. And when I think about that today, it's like, every single day you should come into the office and think about, what's my goal today? What's the thing that I want to accomplish most today? And then do all the things that get you closer to the goal. The problem is people come in with either no goal or a fuzzy kind of blurry kind of goal. And then when they actually open up their email, they're dealing with everybody else's priorities, everybody else's goals, and then you fall off track. You never get to yours. Right. So what you want to do is, stick to the stuff that matters to you, that's important for your company. And then you want to figure out how much time you're going to need in order to do it. And then you drop it into your calendar. You make it an appointment with yourself in order to get that thing done. Let's go on to number 3, optimize. Optimize is all about basically that old adage that smart work is better than hard work. And what we're talking about here is really processes and systems. Are you still doing things the old ways? Have you found shortcuts? Have you found new and better ways of doing the same work, doing it faster, more efficiently? How much do you innovate and how often do you innovate in your business? Because the worst thing that you can do is fall into that mindset of, well, we do it this way because we've always done it that way. That sort of thinking and that sort of culture in a company is what will keep you stuck and basically working really not at your optimal performance. Okay, so don't fall into that thinking. And then let's look at the fourth one here, humanize, and that basically means know yourself. It's entirely a mindset game. So look, you have to be realistic and you have to know what works and what doesn't work with you. Understand your energy level. So if you're a morning person, then you probably want to tackle your big difficult projects in the morning. If you're an afternoon person, then you want to tackle the big things in the afternoon, right? So know yourself, know your energy levels, be realistic, take breaks throughout the day. If you know that you need, little mental breaks, you need to take a nap in the middle of the day, whatever you need to do that, because I promise you that is time well invested. You're going to come back from those breaks or that nap like re-energized, and you're going to actually get more done in the rest of the day, right? And reward yourself. When you get things done. Reward yourself. And the last thing I want to say about today's topic is we need to break the addiction of being busy. I think we all get like a little bit of a dopamine rush in the bloodstream, by seeing how busy we are and scratching things off the list. And it's not about being busy, it's about creating results and accomplishing goals. So don't get so caught up on what you need to do and what must get done. Really measure your results and not your actions. That's what you need to get passionate about. That's what you need to get excited about, is the process and the results and the outcome that you're creating. All right, that's this week's business tip of the week. Go and make good use of it, take some action. Thanks for watching.